After starting the season 3-0, Oklahoma State did not win another game. That's right. They finished the year 3-9. And overall, were one of the most disappointing teams in college football last season. They probably would have been the most disappointing if there wasn't a team named Florida State. But anyways, they're losing their starting quarterback. And as of right now, it's unknown who is going to be the starter. So there's a lot of big factors that are going to play into this season for Oklahoma State. Overall, not looking too good with this schedule. You got Oregon in the non-conference, not going to be easy whatsoever. And then you got some tough Big 12 games. Baylor's going to be good. Texas Tech and Kansas are going to be good. So are Kansas State and Iowa State. But they did manage to avoid a few of the good teams like Arizona State, like BYU. So it's not quite as terrible as some of these other Big 12 schedules that we've seen. The schedule difficulty is going to be about a 5.5 out of 10 here.
Starting the season off with UT Martin, though, 100% chance even for this Oklahoma State team that is losing so much of their production from last year, even though last year was so disappointing, particularly with Ollie Gordon at the running back position. After 2 years ago, he was one of the best running backs in the country, and last year didn't even hit 1,000 yards. So this is still going to be an 100% chance for Oklahoma State, but it's because it's UT Martin. Following week, though, at Oregon, yikes. Um, this Cowboys team stands no chance against this Oregon team. They went 13-0 last year. They're going to be pretty good this year once again. Dante Moore just has to be a serviceable quarterback for this elite Oregon offense, and the Ducks will be once again one of the best teams in the country. A 10% chance for the Cowboys to get the win here going into their first early bye week.
Then they're going to be playing Tulsa. This game actually kind of close last season, even though Tulsa also finished 3-9, one of the worst group of five teams. I think this year, Oklahoma State, they got the game in Stillwater. They should be able to take care of business here. And about an 80% chance to win, which is probably still lower than you would like to see for a team that's as bad as Tulsa. Next up, you got Baylor at home. We're pretty high on this Baylor team. It's definitely going to be a really tough game here for Oklahoma State. Only about a 20% chance for the Cowboys in this one. Then on the road to face Noah Fafita and the Arizona Wildcats. Uh, the Wildcats, they're losing Tito McMillan to the NFL draft. And he's the biggest guy that they're going to have to replace because he had so much production at wide receiver last season. I think it's going to be really tough for Arizona to, make a bowl game, but they should still be able to make a few improvements. And I do think they are a better team than Oklahoma State. They also have the home field advantage. So with all that added up, it's only going to be about a 35% chance for Oklahoma State to win. Then you got a matchup back at home with Houston. And this one, again, Houston, kind of similar to Arizona, maybe a little bit worse. We think the Cougars have a decent chance to make a bowl game, but it's dependent on a lot of different things. They're bringing in Connor Weigman from Texas A&M, and the biggest factor is how well he's going to be able to revamp this Houston offense. So we're sitting at about 40% for Oklahoma State right now. This is probably one of the conference games that they have a decent chance to pull off a win in. Next up is Cincinnati, and it's going to be year two for Brendan Sorsby in the Bearcats program. Did all right last season. And, Cincinnati, they weren't a great team in the Big 12, but I think they're going to be pretty competitive with Oklahoma State in this one. The Cowboys do get the game at home, which will help them out a little bit. And there's definitely some potential for them to pull off this upset. But for right now, we're going to lean Cincinnati here. Only about a 35% chance for an Oklahoma State win. Then back on the road, and this is where things get tougher again. You got to face Texas Tech. The Red Raiders have made some big additions in the transfer portal, as well as returning their starting quarterback for the 2025 season. They also just revamped their football facilities. They've been putting a lot of money into their program, and I think it's going to start paying off as early as this next season. We're really high on Texas Tech, only a 20% chance for the Cowboys to pull off this win on the road.
Following week, they go on the road to face Kansas. The Jayhawks, arguably another very disappointing team out of the Big 12 last year. Jalen Daniels and this Jayhawks team were honestly on top of the world 2 years ago after they had probably their most successful season in the last like decade, if not longer. And this past season, they fell short of their expectations. There were some people that thought they can make a run in the Big 12 conference and maybe compete for a title after the previous season, but that did not happen. But we think Jalen Daniels is going to be able to bounce back with this Kansas team. They started playing a lot better towards the end of the season, including getting a win over Shadur Sanders and that Colorado team. So, with it being on the road for this Oklahoma State team that has so many questions, it's going to be a 20% chance for the Cowboys. Kansas should be the better team. They got another bye week right here between Kansas and then going back home to face Kansas State. Kansas State is, in our opinions, one of the four top teams in the Big 12 next season, that being Kansas State, Arizona State, BYU, and Iowa State. Avery Johnson is back at quarterback for the Wildcats. Has been playing very solid there, especially last season had a a really good season, and maybe he is able to take it up to the next level, losing a little bit in his wide receiver room. But if he's able to play at the same level that he did last year or play even better, this Kansas State team is going to be a pretty scary team to face. And even though it'll be at home for the Cowboys, once again, having that continuity at quarterback for Kansas State is going to be a huge difference maker in this game. So a 25% chance for the Cowboys to beat the Wildcats. Then they go on the road to face UCF. UCF, another team in the Big 12 that was not very good, finished 4-8 overall, 2-7 in the conference. Also losing their primary offensive focal point, that being RJ Harvey at running back. Kind of similar to Oklahoma State in that regard, where their running back was their primary offensive option. I don't see this UCF team being very good either, much like this Oklahoma State team. But just because it is on the road for Oklahoma State, that's why it's not exactly at a 50-50 split. But essentially, this game could go either way. This could be a Big 12 win for the Cowboys, but 45% chance is what we're going to go with right now. Then they face Iowa State. Like I said, this is another one of our top four teams in the Big 12. Iowa State returning Rocco Becht at the quarterback position after one of Iowa State's best seasons in recent memory. And I think this Iowa State Cyclones team is going to be very, very good. Maybe that blowout loss to Arizona State last year is going to light a fire under these returning members if they're going to go on a tear and look to make the college football playoffs. And Oklahoma State at the end of the season is just going to be one more team in the way. If they're playing for a spot in that conference championship game, I think Iowa State's going to have no problem getting to the conference championship game. A 25% chance for the Cowboys to upset the Cyclones here at home.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the schedule, there's only two wins that I'd say are guaranteed. That'd be UT Martin and Tulsa. But there's definitely room for Oklahoma State to win a Big 12 game or two. You know, games like Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, I'd say any of those four are probably the most likely. They can maybe get, one or two of those, finish around 4-8, I would say.
Yeah, but that's really about all I can see. I Two wins is my absolute lowest. I think, like you said, UT Martin and Tulsa are gonna be for sure wins, but outside of that, there's a very strong chance that they can go winless in the Big 12 for the second year in a row. It really just comes down to who's the starting quarterback and how that offense puts it all together. But yeah, basically everything you said, I agree with. Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati, UCF are the four Big 12 games I see them even standing a chance in, and really only two of those I think they actually have a legitimate chance.
Yeah, taking a look last season, like I mentioned early on in the video, started off 3-0, finished 3-9. Rough season for Oklahoma State in 2024. However, the win projection for this season is sitting at 4.55 wins. So there's a chance that we could see them give a little bit of improvement. We're going to predict 4-8 for right now as our way too early prediction. But Vegas likes Oklahoma State a little bit better. Even though they're favoring the under, thus the over/under is set at 5.5 wins. So there's a chance that we could see Oklahoma State around 5-7. For right now, though, we're going to stick with 4-8. So thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.